Alright, hey guys, what's up? This is Kyle down at 65 here, part 2 of my wrestling Q&A. Going off in the order that I received them, received your questions. I just did part 1, so now on to part 2. So the next question comes from Superfinny00. NLCL, it's been a while, long time no see. Would Austin Aries be a world champion if he went to WWE? I don't know. I think he could be. Because, he's about the same size as a Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, and he can definitely talk just as good as Punk on the mic. So I can definitely see him being a world champion, but I'm just not sure, because, let's just say this, Aries is a phenomenal athlete, both in-ring talent and mic skills, but Austin Aries does not fit that mold that WWE looks for. I don't even think they think, and people say, oh well, Daniel Bryan, yeah, but even then, there's been some shaky stuff with Daniel Bryan. How WWE kind of tried to screw him over with the 18-second victory at Mania, but it only ended up getting him over. And then WWE tried to tone down and dub down the sounds when people the yes chants, on the SmackDown taping episodes. So it's just, and they had Dan Bryan to cut certain promos to try to get the people to stop saying yes, but they couldn't stop it. So all in all, trying to say is that I could see Austin Aries being a world champion, but considering how WWE is and how particular they are with this when it comes to a certain look of a wrestler, I don't think Austin Aries would be a long-term type of champion. He would just be a transitional champion, meaning he'll keep the belt for a short brief amount of time, only to pass to someone else. He's only holding it to pass the belt to someone else. So he could be a champion, but I don't know if WWE would stick behind a guy like Austin Aries because of his smaller stature. Next question comes from People Without a Face, Kurt Angle or CM Punk. Dude, you're killing me here. Seriously, one of my favorite wrestlers of the past versus one of the present. I'm going to go with Kurt Angle, just because he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, which, by the way, I am making a video of my favorite top 10 wrestlers of all time and then favorite top 10 wrestlers of this current generation in wrestling, so look forward to that. But I got to go with Kurt Angle because, one, he was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up as a kid, and two, he's been around the business long. He has lots of accolades. CM Punk, the same can be said for him. I followed Punk all the way back to 2001. But in terms of WWE career, Punk's been in the business for 6 years in WWE, but he's just not now starting to really get, his big major push that he's been getting for the past 8 months as the WWE champion. So I'm going to have to go with Kurt Angle for right now, just because of accolade purposes and more time he spent in the big leagues in professional wrestling. Punk is just starting to scratch the surface in the big leagues in professional wrestling. And I mean big leagues, I mean in WWE. So ask me this question again, like 5 years later, and we'll see if I have a different answer. But for right now, it's Kurt Angle. Next set of questions come from SQ1990. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. SQ1990. You asked me and you said, I'm a big John Cena fan and truly believe he needs a break from the WWE. Due to his personal issues going on at the moment, and etc., do you think he needs to go away for a while? Yes, I do think John Cena needs to go away for a while. Personally, I'm kind of tired of Cena. I'm not a Cena fan, nor am I a Cena hater, but I'm just not a fan. Personally, I'm getting kind of tired of seeing John Cena on TV. I think everyone needs a break from John Cena, even the Cena fans a little bit, and Cena needs a break, not only to take care of his personal issues, but he is injured. Because if you notice, for the past, ever since Extreme Rules back in April, John Cena hasn't been wrestling that much on Raw. Any match that he does get in lasts for about 4 to 5 minutes, and it's always against, someone he can easily beat up, like David Otunga or John Laurinaitis, and he really doesn't wrestle the big matches until, the pay-per-views. So, if you think about it, John Cena is still injured, and he still needs to heal up his injuries. But the thing about it is that WWE don't want to risk it because they're extremely petrified and terrified of keeping Cena off TV because the ratings will drop. Which I think is it's a risk they're gonna have to take. There are a lot of superstars that a lot of people don't like, but Vince, not caring what the fans say and still continue to push those stars, and eventually he'll make you like them, because like Vince always says, you don't know what you want, I know what you want. Meaning that you don't know what you're looking for in a superstar, I know what you're looking for in a superstar. And that's true. So I think that rule should also apply as John Cena being off TV. The ratings may take a bump, a little bit, but you know what? Keep John Cena off TV for a while, people are going to start getting used to not seeing John Cena on TV, and they're going to get used to the current stars that are featured on Raw and SmackDown until Cena comes back. But WWE don't want to risk it because they're that scared. Your next question is, what WWE talent should the company push a little more? Dolph Ziggler, Dolph Ziggler, Dolph Ziggler, Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler's at the top of that list, followed by a Cody Rhodes. Since Cody Rhodes lost the IC title, hasn't been seeing that much on SmackDown. It's been starting to be a little bit, I don't want to say become irrelevant, but I think they really need to push him more so he won't become forgettable in the audience's mind. I don't know if he has an injury or whatever, but I think they really need to put him back on TV before people start to forget, what happened to him. Your next question is, do you think The Undertaker will come back for WrestleMania 29? And if so, who should be next to take up the challenge to break the streak? Honestly, I do think Undertaker will come back next year. I don't think he should. I think 20-0 is the perfect WrestleMania record to walk away from. And then, he had a good match at that. I do think he may come back. If he does, the only person I can see right now is Brock Lesnar. If it's not Brock Lesnar, then definitely John Cena is the next one. But if it's not Lesnar or John Cena, nobody should compete against the Undertaker's streak, and Undertaker should just not even come back if that's the case. But since Brock's back, I can definitely see that happening. Do you pay attention to the WWE Divas, and do you think they're using them to their highest potential? I think WWE is using the Divas to their highest potential. Athleticism-wise and ring work-wise, no. Do I pay attention to the Divas? Yes and no. It depends. Wrestling-wise, no, I don't pay attention to them because WWE only gives them, a minute and 15 seconds. So it's like if they don't care about their own women's division, why should you, the viewer, care about what they do to their wrestlers or their division if WWE does not put in an effort? What else? So that's pretty much. I only pay attention to the Divas that I like Kelly, Eve, AJ. If it's none of those three, I really don't pay attention to any other diva. And to go back to your other question too that you had asked me earlier, that I answered before, what talent should WWE push a little more? Another wrestler I'd add to that list is Drew McIntyre. I don't care what anyone says. He may look average. His in-ring work may be decent to okay. Drew McIntyre, to me, is a future star. I'm surprised they stopped the push that he did. I think if they would continue to push him as they did back in 2009, he would have been, a 2 or 3 time world champion by now. I guarantee that. I think Drew needs a complete, probably new overhaul. Roddy Piper has said in many past interviews he would want to work with McIntyre. And in working with McIntyre, he would, and in working with McIntyre, he would love to be his manager. I think that would have been a great idea. Put him in there since Drew's not much of a talker. Put those two guys together because, McIntyre's from Scotland. He's Scottish. So that would have been awesome. It was a really great idea. But WWE doesn't listen to good ideas. Your last question after me is, are you getting tired of the spinner belt? Yes, I am. But we are getting a new WWE Championship. If you Google it, WWE Championship, you'll see a leaked photo of what may be the WWE Championship. Not in full, but like a plate. A lot of people have been pissed off about this because they're saying that they think that this is the main plate. If you Google it and look at the leaked photo, to me, it looks like a side plate, not a main plate for the WWE title. And according to CM Punk, he says that the new championship looks worse than the current belt he has now. He says that this belt, the new belt that they're thinking about making, makes this belt the current belt look a lot better. So it's a little bit scary, hearing Punk say that. But I'm still going to give it a chance to see. The leaked photo to me looks like a freaking side plate, not even a main plate. And who knows? Because it was probably leaked, they probably overhauled it and rechanged it. And if it is an ugly belt, they'll probably tweak it, months later on. Because WWE always do that. Every time they come up with a new title, down through, in the following months, leading up to like a year or so, they'll always make slight changes to that new designed belt to tweak it to make it perfect, whether they make it smaller or whatever. So I am sick of the spinner belt, but we are getting a new championship, so I'm not going to complain too much until I see the belt, which I believe will be unveiled on the 1000th episode of Raw, because Punk did say he wants to be the one to bring in the new WWE Championship belt design. So what better way to do that than on the 1000th episode of Raw? So this will be part 2 of my wrestling Q&A. If I haven't answered any of you guys' questions in the first and the second, I will do it in part 3. So stay tuned for part 3 of my wrestling Q&A, and I may have to do a fourth one. But this is part 2 of 3, possibly 4.